The Edmonton Oilers are a wagon, one that is careening off the edge of a cliff. Despite having two of the best players in the entire league, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, the Oilers still have not punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup with those two. After coming up short again in the second round last year, Oilers fans are hoping that 23-24 will be the year that the team can finally break through the slump and make an actual run at the Stanley Cup. But I am not one of them. Edmonton Oilers, here's why I hate your stupid fucking team.
I never heard of half of these guys. The ones I do know are way past their prime. Most of these guys never had a prime. This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Looking at this Oilers roster, it is one that is built to contend for a Stanley Cup this year, and that's largely because of their main superstar, Connor McDavid. There's not much that I can say about McDavid that hasn't already been said. He's the best player on the planet right now. He should be the early favorite to win MVP every single year that he's healthy, and in my opinion, he's on track to go down as one of the 5 best players in NHL history if he continues this current trajectory. He's joined by Leo Draisaitl, a veritable superstar in his own right, but Draisaitl brings his own skill set that complements McDavid's, whereas McDavid is all about skill, finish, and finesse. Draisaitl's all about power and straight-line finish. The two will work well in the top 6, joined by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, a also former #1 pick by the Oilers, who now at age 30 finally had his first 100-point season, fulfilling the promise that he had so many years ago when he was drafted. Zach Hyman is a very good complementary player who was brought on and has blossomed since being able to play alongside Draisaitl and McDavid. Connor Brown is joining the team after missing all of last year with injury. Pretty surprising Edmonton went bargain bin hunting for one of McDavid's potential line mates, but whatever. And the top 6 is rounded out by the Pokemon Muck in hockey player form, Evander Kane. All in all, it's a very solid top 6, even though I think Kane and Brown are probably going to be middle 6 players on most of their teams. The fact that the Oilers are making McDavid carry one of those two is just another example of how this organization has continued to fail him over his entire career. Their third line, in my opinion, is bottom 5 in the NHL. Matthias Janmark, Ryan McLeod, and Ward Fogel are all pretty shitty. McLeod is 24, so he has a chance to improve, but these are all 20 to 30 point players, and in my opinion, you need to have at least one 40 to 50 point player on your third line. Their fourth line, which consists of 2 younger players in Dylan Holloway and Lane Peterson, is kind of an unknown quality, but they do have Derek Ryan down there to provide some veteran leadership. On the back end, the Oilers are paying Darnell Nurse $9.25 million to be one of the most overrated defensemen in the NHL. I don't think he's quite as bad as a lot of people think. His defensive play is really undervalued, but he has the 7th biggest cap hit of any defenseman in the NHL, and he is not a top 10 defenseman, I am sorry to say. And that's not helped by the fact that he's paired with Cody Ceci, a guy who is a third pairing defensive talent being asked to play first pairing minutes. By contrast, they have one of the best second pairings in Ekholm and Bouchard, and a perfectly serviceable third pairing in Desjardins and Kulak. Really, this team just needs to acquire one more legitimate top 4 defenseman to pair with Nurse, and they're in a much better situation. The goaltending, though, that's not so good, fam. At this point, Stuart Skinner has fully supplanted Soupy as the #1 goaltender in Edmonton, and as a 24-year-old, he has definitely shown promise. The question is whether you can rely on that for 50-60 starts a year. They got that out of him last year, but the question's going to be, can he do that again, and can he be consistent? He also fell off really hard in the playoffs, and the playoffs is really what Edmonton's all about this year, so he's really going to have to step up his game when April and May come around.
Anybody got an idea?
Jay Woodcroft, the John Mulaney of NHL head coaches, seen here preparing to lower the lotion in the basket to the woman he has trapped in his basement. Woodcroft is actually one of the most successful head coaches the Edmonton Oilers have ever had, leading the Oilers to the playoffs twice in his first 2 seasons, 2nd place in the division both years, and taking them to the conference finals and then the second round last year. And I know Oilers fans are tripping all over themselves, talking about how amazing Woodcroft is, but anybody could look good with McDavid and Draisaitl on their team. This is not that impressive getting this team to the playoffs. Now, when he's gotten there, to be fair, he's kind of gotten screwed over by some bad goaltending, but I still don't know if Woodcroft is the answer in Edmonton. I hope he is, but I don't see it quite yet.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the new guy.
They went and got Connor Brown to play in the top 6. That's it. That's all they did. They went and got a guy whose career high in points is 43, whose career high in goals is 21 to play alongside McDavid and or Leo Draisaitl in the top 6. And I mean, I get it. They were hamstrung. They're right up against the cap, but maybe that wouldn't be an issue if you weren't paying Darnell Nurse $9.25 million a year.
You gay Irish fireman, you you're okay. But you, I do not like.
I mean, I really don't want to have to do it, but I'm going to man crush over Connor McDavid. This guy came into the NHL with massive expectations on him, and it took all about 2 seconds for me to watch him and say, okay, he is different. Like, that dude can just skate through people like it's nothing. I've never seen a guy who is better with the puck on his stick. Never. He can accelerate so quickly, and he has such a lethal shot. He can shoot it from anywhere. He is truly, in my opinion, one of the most complete players in the entire NHL. And the fact that the Oilers cannot put a team around him that can get him into the Stanley Cup Finals, let alone win one, is an absolute crime. He is just entering his prime. Get it the fuck done, Edmonton. Health permitting for McDavid and Draisaitl, this Oilers team is going to make the playoffs. They're going to be one of the top 2 teams in their division. They could challenge for the President's Trophy if Stuart Skinner can manage to maintain and even elevate his form from last year. It's all about the playoffs for this team, and they have the pieces necessary to make a deep run, absent maybe one more top 4 defenseman and or one more top 6 winger. I never like to say it's cup or bust, but cup is the goal. That is what you're aiming for. Anything else is a bit of a disappointment.